Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer, sponsored by Arnold Clark. It's Monday. We'll look back over the weekend's football and, of course, the emerging stories today, all in the company of Alan Rough and Barry Ferguson. And here are some of the topics we'll be discussing. Yeah, who'd be a manager? We will discuss the men out and the potential men going into all those clubs. And also, tonight we'll be looking at the weekend's football. Here, of course, is confirmation of the results from the Premiership. We'll also give you the head-to-head between Barry, Ruffy and myself. Aberdeen with a convincing win over St Mirren. It was tight between Killie and Dundee. It certainly wasn't tight at Easter Road between Hibs and Hamilton. Couldn't separate Motherwell and Livingston. And, of course, Rangers and Celtic certainly showing that they are now ready to go head-to-head title race. Blown wide open, says Stephen Gerrard. Here's a look back at the weekend.
Ryan Bowman scored a deflected goal to put Motherwell ahead against Livingston at Fir Park. Livingston had a goal disallowed before their equaliser came from a spectacular Keegan Jacobs free kick. Carl McHugh was then sent off after an elbow, and a poor tackle earned him 2 yellow cards. The game ended 1-1. Hibs started the high-scoring weekend by beating Hamilton 6-0. Martin Boyle opened the scoring before Emerson Heidman put away a neat finish, and Stevie Mallon bagged 2 long-range efforts. Flo Canberry got on the scoresheet in injury time before an own goal finished the rout. Aberdeen scored more than 2 goals in a game for the first time this season as they beat St Mirren 4-1 at home. 3 first-time scorers for the Dons, Sam Cosgrove netting his first goal with a header. Youngster Connor McLennan scored in off the post on his first start, and Loney Max Lowe made it 3. Cosgrove doubled his tally for the Dons before Simeon Jackson pulled one back for the Buddies. Dundee lost 2-1 to Kilmarnock in controversial fashion. Naby got Dundee off to the start they wanted, but an unfortunate own goal from Andy Boyle levelled the game. Jordan Jones then appeared to dive as Eamon Brophy converted from the penalty spot. Killie were awarded another penalty, but Greg Stewart saw his effort saved, and it finished 2-1. Rangers blew the title race wide open with a 3-1 win over unbeaten league leaders Hearts. The Gers stunned the Jambos with an early lead through Ryan Kent after a poorly executed offside trap. Morelos then scored a lovely backheel flick before Scott Arfield knocked in a rebound to make it 3-1. Michael Smith saw red before a late Jimmy Dunn consolation, tightening things at the top of the table. Celtic hit St Johnstone for 6 as they ran rampant in Perth. James Forrest scored 4 first-half goals after lacklustre Saints defending, and Odson Edouard also got on the scoresheet. There were fewer goals in the second half, but it could have been more where it knocked some excellent saves from Xander Clark. Danny Swanson was sent off for a poor challenge on Forrest before McGregor finished the scoring off late on.
Yeah, there you have it. That's a quick summary of events. As far as the games are concerned, let's digest them game by game. Aberdeen convincing 4-1 there, Ruffy, against a St Mirren side that I think is going to be a long, hard season for Oran Kearney.
Yeah, I think it is, particularly away from home, but you can't take anything away from Aberdeen. They have had a poor start to the season, but they got on the right track at the weekend and scored some terrific goals, and it could have been more.
Yeah, Cosgrove finally getting a goal. They waited a long time up at Pittodrie to get him on the score sheet.
Yeah, it's took a long time, but listen, he's got that monkey off his back. He's got the first goal. He's different for what Aberdeen have had in the past. He's more of a target man. He can hold the ball up pretty decent, but listen, he'll just be delighted to get that first goal.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of controversy in the division, of course, none more so than at Dens Park, Ruffy. It was Dundee 1, Kilmarnock 2. Jordan Jones could face a 2-game ban for diving. I just thought it was... there's no point in moaning about it because players cheat. Players do things to win games, to influence the outcome of it. Yeah. I know professional footballers have said to me, well, you know, I'll let the referee make the decision on this, but if I get a touch or I can fool him in some way, that's his fault.
No, obviously don't go down that road at all. You know, I think if you're going to cheat, and you're cheating players out of their livelihood, you know, cheating managers out of their job and whatever. I said last year, and you looked at me and I gasped when I said 6 games. I would have changed the rules at the beginning of the season if you get caught diving like that, you get 6 games, not 2 games. 2 games is nothing.
Yeah.
And you get a punishment out like that, and then see how many people start diving.
I'm warming to it, Ruffy. I genuinely am warming to your suggestion now. Last year I looked at you and thought it was an act of lunacy, but this one, I'll tell you how serious it is. In some ways, challenges like this that he dupes the referee can cost a manager his job.
Yep.
If Dundee had sacked Neil McCann on Sunday or Monday, you would have looked and said, well, let's look at the stats of his wins this season. You'd think, okay, we can understand why he sacked him. But again, that game turned on its head.
Yeah, listen, he got the win last week, and look, it could have been come away with a point against a good Kilmarnock team. But I'm with Ruffy. Do you know what? I agree with that. It's clamped down on them pretty hard. If they're going to dive and cheat, and it could lose the potential to lose people jobs, lose club points, I would go through them like a ton of bricks. And I think a 5-6 game ban is sufficient for me, because I'm not having that. Listen, I can understand some players, me myself, getting in a box, if I did get feel a tug or somebody grabbed me, then I would maybe go down at times. But that's just a blatant dive for me.
Okay, are Hibs serious title challengers, Ruffy?
In that kind of form, yeah, you look at the goals, but you've got to look at the opposition as well. I don't think if Rangers or Hearts or Celtic came visiting, it'd be so convincing, but certainly the confidence is high. All their good players are all in top form, particularly the boy Ballon. I think he's been superb. He's taken over with Scott Allen, and then obviously the ones that they've missed, and he's a different kind of player. But he's coming up with some fantastic goals. Was it 7 or 8 goals from outside the box?
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing about it. He's contributing crackers. He's hitting screamers week in, week out. But they're back in the black. They've got £200,000 of profit, pre-tax profit from their financial figures. You've got a man that we questioned whether he was going to be able to replace the midfield of Scott Allen, who came in loan, McGinn, McGeoch. But suddenly you're looking, and again you're saying to yourself, recruitment's good. Yeah. The manager's been over the coast before, and again they're playing good football.
You took the words out of my mouth. Look, he lost 3 massive players in the summer. McGinn, McGeoch and Scott Allen going back to Celtic. How was he going to replace them? Well, do you know what? It comes down to one thing, recruitment. And his recruitment's been excellent. And look, they deserve to be up near the top of the league. Some of the players he's brought in, they've just kicked on again. And what a fantastic job. You've got to take your hat off to Neil Lennon. For me, I'm sure the Hibs board will be absolutely delighted where they are at this moment in time. For me, they've got to be genuine title contenders, because they've been... apart from Saturday, I don't think they've hit top form yet, and they're still up near the top of the league. So they are a good team. There's always going to be one thing against them defensively. Are they strong enough? But one thing about that Hibs team is they'll always score goals and create opportunities. Yeah.
At Fir Park, I watched Motherwell against Livingston. It ended 1-1. Congratulations, I have to say, to Keegan Jacobs, because he scored a goal for Livingston in every division in Scotland. No mean feat, to be perfectly honest with you. Carol McHugh picked up a red card. Don't think there were too many disagreements on that one, apart from Carol McHugh and his family. But other than that, Ruffy, Livingston... Manager of the month, Gary Holt, no arguments.
No arguments at all. I think the results that they had in that month were superb, obviously with the Rangers game in there as well. And then having the ability to go away from home and pick up points, and that could be crucial for them at the end of the season, picking up the points away from home.
Yeah, OK, let's get to both halves of Glasgow. Of course, Rangers, in the end, killed off any suggestion that Hearts could go to Glasgow and win. They're not ready yet for it, despite the fact that they created their own downfall with some calamitous defending.
Yeah, well, listen, they're going to go up there, Hearts. There is a massive improvement for last season. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But listen, if you're going to put yourself down as genuine title contenders, you need to go to places like Ibrox, like Celtic Park, and come away with a win. Now, last season Friday, I didn't think they were. I think they're a good team, but I still don't think they're good enough to go and beat a Rangers or a Celtic at their own patch. It's a different story at Tynecastle. We know that, a tighter pitch, tighter stadium. But until Hearts can get through to Glasgow and pick up points, they're not going to challenge for the league.
Yeah, you've got to be really positive, Ruffy, about Morelos' goal. I mean, it was just a complete moment of quality.
Yeah, I think we were all raving about Scott Sinclair last week with a back heel. That was 10 times better than that. You know, that was a complete and utter bit of class. You know, to to know that you have the ability, you could have hit it with his other foot, but to know that he's got the ability to try that, you know, when he could have taken the easy way out, was a fantastic finish. It was great.
Yeah, a couple of wee points, Barry. I don't think it blows the title race wide open. I don't know where Stephen Gerrard got that headline. It would blow the title race wide open if suddenly the two teams we're talking about, Rangers and Celtic, were top of the league. But they're not there yet. You know, you look towards what Celtic were doing. This is a team apparently in disarray, by the way, with a major split in the dressing room. It didn't look like it against, you know, what I think is a very poor St Johnstone side at the moment.
Yeah, obviously I was going between both games. Obviously the Rangers game wasn't on telly. I was keeping an eye on the result. But I thought Celtic, for a team that's got dressing room splits or they don't get on with each other, it didn't look like that to me in the first 45 minutes. I thought that's the best I've seen James Forrest play. He was unbelievable in the game. And I felt sorry for the left back. I've got to be honest with you. But he was in top form. His movement, look, he scored 4 goals, and it takes a lot to do that. But I thought the second goal for me, the movement, he came in off the wing, played a 1-2 with Rodgers, and a lot of people would say it's about the finish, but it's about Rodgers' pass. It was the way to the pass and a great finish. But he was in fine form. And listen, Celtic have had a lot of critics of late, but they showed that they're still a decent team and they're still together. But there's still a few players non top form at Celtic for me. But great result. Any result away from home's a good one. But to go up with St Johnstone, and you can say St Johnstone were poor, I think we all agree with that. But you've still got to go out and do a job, and they've done it.
I just wonder if Tommy Wright has actually hit the ceiling. I thought he maybe have hit the ceiling maybe last season, possibly the season before, Ruffy. But I look at his squad now and I'm thinking to myself, I mean, he's had an exchange with a fan pitch side, as if, you know, what are Saints fans looking for? You're not going to lay a glove in Celtic too many times, or a Rangers, or even a Hearts. I just think he's produced well and above expectation year in year out.
Yeah, I think for the last 4 years he's been fortunate enough that he had the cup side for maybe 3 or 4 years, you know, and they all stood together. There wasn't many players coming in or out, and when you got a settled 11, he was getting the benefit of it. But I think the downfall was in the big boy we had in the studio, big centre half retired. He went to Stirling Albion,
Dave Mackay.
Dave Mackay. I think when Dave Mackay left, that was a sort of a turning point for me, when a lot of the sort of senior players were beginning to move on for whatever reason, and they haven't been able to get that for them.
Okay, let's deal with some of the news today. We've got to obviously grill Ruffy on the Partick Thistle job. A lot of people will be applying for that one. It is a great club, and the potential there is massive as well. But let's deal with the main news first of all. Griffiths pulls out of the Scotland squad. Now, I have to say, there are 3 or 4 stories here which will gather pace over the next 24 hours. He wasn't happy that Naismith was told he was a certain starter. He apparently, allegedly blanked Alex McLeish's calls, and he's now going to withdraw from the squad to work on his fitness. Seriously?
Yeah, I watched as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, I watched the Celtic game yesterday, and that's not the Lee Griffiths that I know. I don't know. Listen, a lot of people are going on about maybe he looks a wee bit top heavy, he doesn't look as fit as he's been in the past. I mean, that's clear to see, but I don't know, there's something not right. For me, he's still the best striker in Scottish football, he's still the best goal scorer, but there's just something not right with him just now. And we need to find, Celtic will need to find out quickly what it is, because they'll need him. But going on the Scotland thing, there's been a lot made I'm not returning or no answering Alec McLeish's phone. I don't see, is there a big problem in that? He's unhappy because he never played. I would rather a player be unhappy. And I know Alec came out and says that Nazy was going to be a certain starter. Well, I do think Nazy should be a certain starter, because I thought against the game against Hampden, the last one I thought Nazy was different class. Scored 2 goals, so he should start. But Lee's got to get himself back to what he can be, fit, scoring goals. Because you don't like to see that. No matter if I'm talking for the Rangers side or whatever, listen, you want to see the best players available for Scotland firing on all cylinders, and Lee Griffiths isn't at this moment in time, and I don't know what's going on.
Should he have made himself available?
Well, he's obviously got an issue. he's saying he's not fit enough, so he's going to stay behind and try and work on that. But if you're called up with your national team, you've got to go.
I think there's a general disdain for international football from modern day footballers.
Yeah, not all modern day footballers, but a lot of them, and I think this is an example of it. I don't know the rights or the wrongs or what is actually happening in there, but in the olden days, you turned up, whether you thought you were no match fit or whatever. The manager assessed you, and to see if you were what you were saying, and if he wasn't fit. If he doesn't think he's fit, turn up and be part of the squad. Being part of the squad is as much as playing, But I think there is. I'm just reading between the lines. I just think there's things going on. And Barry, if Walter Smith had phoned you, you'd have been on the phone to him within 2 minutes. If what he was wanting for you, if you saw his name on the phone, you would be replying to that telephone call. If Jobstein had phoned me, I'd be immediately on the phone.
If it was Walter Smith, I'd be on the phone.
Well, no, that tells me then that you had the respect of the manager. Now, clearly, there doesn't seem to be that same respect.
No, but I don't think Alec McLeish was making a big thing. I think it was a lot of people out with was making a big thing about it. Look, he's disappointed, and I would rather a player be disappointed and whatever. Look, we can argue he was red in the face or whatever you want to call it.
Say blue in the face, we don't mind.
No, because I'll get criticised as normal.
You would have thought, if he's fit enough to have 60 minutes with Celtic, is he fit enough to do 60 minutes for Scotland?
Ruffy.
There's something.
We're so short in strikers.
Players mention this, and it goes out as if it's gospel. It's a load of nonsense. Just make yourself available. Don't throw the dummy out of the pram. If there's something that comes out that he's not telling us, that it's something unbelievably legitimate, we all have to hold our hands up. But if he's going to be transparent, then fine. If he's not, and he's going to say, I'm coming out because I'm not fit, 8 games into a season, I want to work on my fitness. Come on.
Does Lee Griffiths look right to you just now if you're watching Celtic playing?
No.
No.
But by the way, Barry, this is a guy who's come on as a sub and scored to get them a crucial win against Rosenborg.
Yeah,
this is a guy who scored after that as well. He scored goals. Still scoring goals.
There's something not right what's going on with Lee Griffiths just now. He just doesn't look right to me on the pitch. I mean,
if Peter said if he doesn't think he's 100% fit because he might pick up an injury, that's fair enough. But if it's a case that he's no one to go in case unless he's no playing, that's a different issue altogether. If
I don't think that's
saying, if I turn up and he doesn't play me against Iceland, I'm not happy with that. And then you've got to get your head round of why.
But that's not a unique thing, Ruffy.
No,
in the last 10, 15 years,
yeah.
you could look back over 1,000,001 players who've thought, I'm not even going to go on the pitch, so I'm not happy about it. I'll just not bother. I'll call in. I've got an injury. I've got this, that, the other. Happens all the time.
Yeah, but that is.
Then you're told to Peter, if you're selected for the squad and you've got an injury, you have to turn up and get assessed by the medical team.
Yeah, well, that used to be the case.
That was the case when I was there.
Yeah.
If you were injured, if you played at the weekend and you were turning up the next day, whether it be the Sunday or the Monday, you were meeting up with the squad, you had to turn up and be seen by the medical staff, and then they would assess you whether you were fit to stay with the squad or you had to go back to your club.
But it is a change in the modern day the player. I don't know what it is, because when we played, we used to hear stories of John Robertson, Kenny Burns and all the Notts Forest boys would be playing Arsenal, and they'd all be charging about an airport, desperate to get on the plane to come up and meet all the players.
Those days are gone. A couple of stories I want to get in before we finish. Brendan Rodgers, even if Aston Villa ask Celtic if they can speak to Brendan Rodgers, he's not going to Aston Villa, Ruffy. I mean, honestly. I mean, Aston Villa are a smaller club than Celtic, and I think it's a poison chalice.
Yeah, by all accounts, it's Terry Henry that's got the job. So I think this is now the media again, great story if you want to read it all. But he said, no, I'm not going anywhere. So for me, that's it.
OK, 11 managers have been sacked in the SPFL since the start of the season. Partick Thistle, Dumbarton, Airdrie, Livingston, St Mirren, Falkirk, Ross County, Dundee United, Morton, Berwick Rangers and Stirling Albion. It's a cutthroat game. Do you feel the board let Alan Archibald down at Partick Thistle? Because I have sympathy for him.
I think we all had sympathy for him when we were coming to that decision, but I think I wasn't there last year by all accounts at the end of the season when we got relegated. The remit was, Alan, because of what you've done for the club, we're going to keep you on. They could have sacked him then, they didn't, because of the services given to the club. The remit was to look at it again in September, October time to see where we were. and unfortunately it hadn't improved, so the board had to make a decision.
Yeah, you'll be inundated with, no doubt, everybody and their granny looking for this job. It's a good job to get, Ruffy.
Yeah, it certainly is, particularly with our new training ground will be completed next year. It'll be a fantastic facility to level Celtic, Rangers, anybody. It's there for a new manager to come in. There are some young players coming through, but it's a big job. It really is a big job, and they have to have a lot of contacts to come in and change it over.
Yep, OK. Dumbarton and Airdrie sacked their manager at the weekend. Barry, it's tough times down there. The expectations are incredible.
Yep, I just can't believe that stat. You says 11 managers since the start of the season. Crazy. It's just a crazy time to be a manager. I feel sorry for Dumbarton. I mean, he kept him up in the Championship for a few years. I know he had a difficult season last season, getting relegated. And I think he's had a lot of injuries down there, Steve Aitken, as well, which has no helped. And obviously, Ian Durant, one of my big heroes of mine, was his assistant manager. So you don't like seeing managers lose their job. But listen, if you don't get results, I'm afraid there's only one thing that's going to happen, and you're going to be told that you're no longer wanted.
Yep, OK. Couple of things before we finish. Quickly, let's have a look at the head-to-head over the course of the weekend, guys, because the predictions were made. What happened there, Ruffy? What happened there, Ruffy? You've had a bad weekend, son. 10 points behind. If we were gambling, apparently, if we were gambling men, Barry and I would have made a fortune at the weekend.
Yeah, 6 out of 6. There's not many people can do that. But no, it was just a bad weekend. I just have to write that off. I can regroup.
Yeah, is that too big a gap?
Oh, not at all.
No,
not at all.
you can fly back into that.
I think it's going to come down to just me and you.
Oh,
I think we can.
By the way, if we go any further ahead, he'll start to completely lose interest on it. OK, Ballon d'Or nominees. Ronaldo released. They're just slowly drip feeding us the nominees over the course of today, and then all of them will be available to us tomorrow. But Aguero, Bale, Alisson of Liverpool, Benzema, Cavani, Courtois, Ronaldo, De Bruyne, Firmino, Godin of Atletico Madrid. I would imagine Modric is going to be released at some point. Is it down to the likes of a Modric and a Cristiano Ronaldo, and to a lesser extent a Messi?
I think Modric has got to be up there with the year that he had.
Yeah.
I just love watching the guy. He's a little midfield genius. Love how he can handle the ball. Great player, and he's one player that I just love watching. But I'll say about Messi, what about him last week? He was unbelievable against Tottenham.
Yeah.
I thought he was frightening.
Mind-numbing watching him. But Ruffy, you predicted Modric for the
I think obviously
FIFA awards.
Yeah, I think the European winning that. I think he controlled the whole game, start to finish, and to take his country to where they got. In the big competition, for me, there's only one winner, and it gets us away from Ronaldo and Messi.
OK, before we go, Ruffy, a big question for everybody, possibly on YouTube, Facebook and that. We, obviously, our better halves are away this week, and we were contemplating going to see the movie A Star Is Born together. Barry doesn't think it's a good idea, two men going to the pictures together. What do you think, Ruffy?
I think, if you're going to buy the popcorn, I'll get the hot dog.
I tell you, if I see you two going to the pictures, I won't be back in here.
No, can I tell you right now, can you imagine somebody who's strayed into the cinema and sees me and Ruffy? Anyway, on that note, we'll tell you how it all turns out. Thanks for watching.